All will say, give your affection. Ready to go.
Something, you know, new.
Stay.
Obviously it's been a few weeks now and we're all probably still feeling a bit depressed, worried, disappointed. Well, these feelings are understandable, but I think what we have to do now is start rallying and thinking about making a positive case for what we want, which is to stay in the EU. I think, as we've seen in the news yesterday, everything, well, not everything, but almost everything they predicted about leaving the EU is coming true. We've seen the weakest economic performance since the financial crash yesterday. We see companies pulling out of the UK. We see, I work in technology, and just this week they announced that ARM, which is one of our most prestigious companies in technology, has been bought by the Japanese. Thanks a lot to the drop in sterling due to us leaving the EU, or voting to do so. I think there is a massive failure in some ways from some of the campaigning done over and this is nobody's fault, but it's just we banged on too much about the economy, and what we need to do is make a stronger case for what the EU gives us and gives our children. I think it's very important to point out to people, especially people with families, that leaving the EU is restricting the life chances of their children. I want my children to be able to choose to go to university in Europe for free, rather than paying £9,225. I want them to be able to go to Europe, not necessarily with a visa or because they've got a job lined up, because they have the opportunity to go there. They can go there, they can find a job, they can find their own way, and they can do that without anyone's permission. I think these are fundamental freedoms, and when people realise what we're going to lose if we leave the EU, they're going to get angry. We've got to capture that anger, we've got to remind people what they're going to lose, and we've got to use that in our campaigning, a positive campaign for what the EU gives us. And let's not be too harsh on the people who voted to leave, because actually a lot of them voted to leave based on misinformation and outright lies. We need to work with these people, we need to listen to their concerns, and we need to reassure them that actually it's not the EU that's causing these problems. In fact, in many ways, it's the EU that helps them. The EU is helping their workers' rights, helping the rights of all of us to live in an unpolluted world. I'm fearful of what will happen to our environment as a Green, but also to the world when we come out of the EU, if we do, and I hope we don't. But we need to make sure that we're campaigning before anything happens to protect our environment, protect our working rights, and to protect everything that the EU has given us.
Proportional representation is only one thing that the Electoral Reform Society is campaigning on. What we are really campaigning for is a better democracy. In the last few weeks, a lot has been said about the fact that, in contrast to how we vote for our MPs, the referendum vote, every vote actually counted. And quite a lot of people afterwards have said, had they known that every vote counted, they would have voted differently. That demonstrates to which a degree our democracy is distorted and confusing to people because our rather ridiculous voting system. The Leave campaign was actually very successful with their shout for take back control, because it resonated with people. We all feel a little bit that there is a democratic deficit. But these same people now shout at groups like this and say, go away and accept a democratic decision. Hey, democracy democracy is not just about a majority view, it's about letting many views to be heard and listen to them and work together. So Bar Stays, to me, is a proper expression of democracy. We are here, non-party political, we want to listen to people, but we want to campaign, and we are bringing back a little bit of passion into politics, don't we? So, go, Bath, stay. We are the people, we are democracy, we are not going to go away, we are continuing to fight for our membership in the EU.
Yeah.
Well, it's really great to see so many of you here today. I'm Dina Romero, I'm a councillor and I'm a leader of the Lib Dem group on Bath and North East Somerset Council. The EU referendum result was absolutely appalling. I think we can agree with that. And it's so disappointing that the country's leaders still haven't actually managed to do the right thing, despite even forming a whole new government. The pound is worth less than it was a month ago. New investment is at a record low. Those living in this country and those living in Europe are now really worried. In some cases, they're actually really frightened about their futures too. The fate of this country is on a knife edge, and it's great that so many people of different parties and of no party, the young and the less young, and of different parts of our society have come together, pledging to put our differences to one side, to present a united front to fight for what we believe is the right cause. I believe that the EU, on the whole, has worked well. We have an EU Human Rights Act, better working conditions, better opportunities for living, working and studying in the EU, as well as shared responsibilities for the environment and for clean water. We also have investment in science and into areas of regeneration and also into protective schemes for the countryside. And we must continue to fight for the United Kingdom, whose place is within the EU and not outside it. Thank you.
My name is Robin Moss. I'm a Baines councillor, leader of the Labour group on Baines. One thing that we're talking about, I suppose, apart from Europe, is actually the devolution deal for the West of England. And bear with me, because I think it's important and it's relevant to the discussion and the argument that we're having. But the devolution deal is about investment in the West of England, the old Avon area, and it's something that the Treasury are really keen on. And the Treasury are keen on it because around this area we actually pay more in taxes through to them than they pay to us. And one of the reasons for that is that we have high-tech industries located in this area that rely on inward investment from Europe and from elsewhere. They provide high-value, high-wage jobs, and the reason they're located here is because we have a cluster of universities that provide research and development, and that research and development relies on European networks and European funding. So it's no particular surprise that this area voted to remain, and particular Baines and Bristol voted very clearly to remain in the EU. So when the government is talking about they'll get a Brexit deal for the whole of the country, we're going to be part of that discussion. We're going to be saying we have a mandate to stay within the EU, and actually we provide money through to your exchequer because of the EU. So we're not going to turn around and say, oh well, everyone voted, because round here we didn't. I live and live down in Radstock and Westfield, represent that area on Baines. And quite clearly there are a lot of people who aren't in those high-paid jobs. There's a lot of people as well, we've got to accept, voted to leave. And quite often those are the same people. And it's maybe part of the failure of our campaign is that there's a chunk of people who felt they had nothing to lose, and we didn't actually convince them that they actually do have something to lose, and that there is benefits within the EU. But so our conversation isn't only with central government about deals of Brexit, but also with our fellow citizens. And those are going to be interesting conversations. There's already conversations taking place. Last night, being a Friday night, I was down in Radstock Working Men's Club, networking, as you do, with a couple of pints in front of the cricket highlights. And I was talking to a guy I know, who I know was very much in favour of leave. And we're chatting, and he said, I might have made a mistake a month ago. I'd have to pick myself off the floor, because he was a very convinced leave person. I thought, why is that then? He said, well, the first thing that happened after the leave vote was all the people who told us a good idea went effed off. And then all the news since then shows that it's not such good news at all. And I said to him, well, they might have disappeared, we're not. And I think, as Weira said, I mean, we might only have been 48% on the 23rd of June. But just because we lost an argument yesterday, it doesn't mean we're going to lose it tomorrow. Yes. And there was nothing in that binary vote on the 23rd of June that said about a lack of investment coming in. There was nothing on the 23rd of June that said they shouldn't have freedom of movement. There was a lot of it on the 23rd of June about £350 million a week to the NHS, but that of course seems to have disappeared. So whatever deal that the government wants to come up with, then that deal has to come back to the British people for ratification. And it's interesting that the government is already saying, well, we're not going to sign Article 50 in 2016. And if they're going to go for a deal that covers the whole of the UK and Scotland, I can't see how they're going to come up with a deal everyone agrees in 2017, 2018 or 2019. So we keep the pressure on. Talk to your MP in Bath to make sure that he talks to the government. Have sympathy for those of us in North East Somerset with Jacob Rees-Mogg about those discussions, because that conversation might be a little less interesting. But thanks for you all for coming along. This fight is not over. The 23rd of June might have been a setback, but that doesn't mean we're not going to win in the future. Thanks and goodbye.